So, a little backstory into this video being late as it is. So, I intended on recording my reaction to the whole of the Dead Meat Horror Awards when it first premiered. Well, that didn't happen. I was going to watch it after, again, full reaction, but I realized that I didn't have enough space on my hard drive to actually get the whole recording done. So we're doing this abbreviated version where I just talk about who won the prime ribs. So let's get on with it. My name is Dano Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and these are the results of the Dead Meat Horror Awards for 2025. If you guys want to know my predictions as to who I thought was going to win all the prime ribs, check out the video that I have posted on my channel. But without further ado, let's get into the results, shall we? The first one was stunts and choreography. And I believe, if my memory serves correctly, I had Smile 2 winning this. And what do you know? Smile 2 was indeed the film that won Best Stunts and Choreography. And to me, that makes a lot of sense. Even though The Substance was nominated for a lot of categories in this, I still think, also the fight that Sue and Elizabeth had was really, really massive. And also they had a dance number in there as well. But this one, with not only the dance number that we got to see briefly, but also the jump scare with like all the dancers and stuff, that looked really, really well choreographed. So yeah, I would say Smile 2 was my pick, and I'm happy that it won. Next up was Best Visual Effects. I believe I went for Alien Romulus because it was nominated for an Oscar, and what do you know? The winner was indeed Alien Romulus. And I know the one thing that people complained about was like the VFX on, I forget the name of the robot that's actually in Alien Romulus, but it looks like Ash from the first Alien movie. I know people were giving that a whole bunch of crap, but the rest of the VFX in that movie were like really, really good. And they also mixed in some really good practical effects as well. So yeah, very much happy that Alien Romulus took home Best Visual Effects. We then move on to Best Practical Effects. Now, I was torn between Substance and Terrifier 3. But when Substance won for Best Hair and Makeup, I gave the nod to the Substance because, well, it won the Oscar in that category. And what do you know? The Substance did indeed win for Best Practical Effects. And I have absolutely no problems with that because they deserved that Oscar, and they also deserve this because the effects in that movie were disgusting, but also really, really awesome. So, in my eyes, I think the right movie won, in my opinion. Not to say like I would have been like mad if any of the others won. I was just thinking the one that I would have picked won. We then move on to production design, and here's where we get my first surprise, but in a good way, because the winner was Nosferatu. Nosferatu won for Best Production Design. Now, I would have thought, much like how When Evil Lurks swept up all of its awards last year, I would have sincerely thought The Substance would have gotten it. But I'm also very happy that Nosferatu got production design, because I believe it was nominated for Best Production Design at the Oscars. And if it wasn't going to win that, I'm happy that it won the prime rib, because, again, Eggers is a stickler for having everything be period accurate, and it definitely pays off because, yeah, it was really, really good. Really, really good production design. Moving on now to Best Kill. And again, another shocker. The winner for Best Kill was Aurora from In a Violent Nature. Now, I'm going to spoil this kill, but the kill is essentially Johnny puts a meat cleaver in her head and yanks it through her midsection. Now, to give you a bit of reference, the one that I had was Cole in Terrifier 3, because he got his ass and dick sawed off with a chainsaw. Now, I'm very happy that this kill won because it is really cool and really inventive. But for me, nothing is worse than having your ass and dick sawed into with a damn chainsaw. I'm just saying, I think Cole should have, I think he should have won this. But I'm also very happy for In a Violent Nature winning this kill, because it is really cool, it is really inventive, but it wouldn't have been the one that I would have picked. But hey ho, I wasn't on the panel. Moving on to Best Villain. Now, I picked Art the Clown. I thought he was going to get his second prime rib for Best Villain, but no. Longlegs actually got it. And if I'm being honest, he probably was my second pick, because the way that Nicolas Cage portrayed him was really, really unsettling. It was really, really scary, very much Hannibal Lecter vibes, because he's not on screen for long, but when you see him, you get his presence, and he leaves an impression on you. So, I'm very much happy that Longlegs got the distinction for Best Villain. Moving on to Best Supporting Actor, and I believe this one I picked Margaret Qualley, and I was surprised yet again. David Johnson from Alien Romulus got the award. Now, again, I probably had him as my second pick to win this, but again, I would have sincerely thought that Substance would have, ran away with all of the nominations that it got. But I'm also very happy for David Johnson, because he was essentially the heart of Alien Romulus. And the way that he portrayed the switch up at the midpoint of the film, from going from kind and caring to then very strict business Weyland-Yutani tech at the midpoint of the film, was really, really good. He portrayed that like two distinct characters, and it was really, really well done. So I'm very much happy for David Johnson winning the prime rib. We then move on to Best Lead Performance from an Actor. And, well, I should say Best Lead Performances, because this one ended in a tie. Demi Moore and David Dastmalchian won this award, both of them. And I had predicted Demi Moore was going to win because she was nominated for the Oscar, and she was amazing in that film. But David Dastmalchian, for portraying Jack Delroy in Late Night with the Devil, he was really, really good in that. And it was probably, this is my wishful heart thinking this, but I'm hoping he was on the long list in terms of like Oscar nominations for the Oscars. But he did a really, really good job in that movie. So I'm very happy that he got his flowers for that performance. And I'm also happy that Demi Moore got at least something. You know, she didn't get the Oscar, but she did get a prime rib, so that makes me very, very happy. Moving on to Best Director, and for this one, if I remember correctly, I've said Coralie Farja for The Substance, and hey ho, what do you know? It is Coralie Farja for The Substance. Again, no real big surprises because this movie was so good, and she had a very distinct vision, and she carried that out to the nth degree. It was so amazing to watch that, and kind of be one of the. I don't want to necessarily say I was one of the first channels, but it was one of my first videos that I had on the channel, and I was singing its praises back then, and I think once people started seeing it get traction and get nominated, people were like, oh, what is this? And then they checked it out, and then it got even more praise. So I don't want to take credit for like getting the ball rolling on it, because that certainly did not happen. But it was cool that I got to cover it before it like really blowed up. Moving on to the fan favorite award, my assumption is that The Substance was going to win for the fan favorite award, and sure enough, it did, because again, it got all sorts of traction. People were like, hearing things about the movie, and then once people saw it, it got even more traction and just kept building, and yeah, it most certainly deserves the fan favorite award. Moving on to Best Remake or Sequel. For this one, I think it was a coin, if I remember correctly, it was a coin flip between Smile 2 and Terrifier 3. I think I ended up giving the nod to Terrifier 3, though, because of its huge success compared to its budget and all that stuff. But no, I was actually proven wrong again, because Smile 2 won for Best Remake and Sequel. And I'm also very happy for that, because from everyone that I heard, from all the reactions that I saw, I should say, everyone was saying that this was better than the first movie, whole stop. And I'm very happy that Parker Finn and everybody on the crew was able to kind of soak in all of the praise that everyone was heaping towards this movie. And hopefully they do make a Smile 3, and I'll be the most terrified of that whenever that decides to come out. And then finally, Best Original Film, and should we be surprised, The Substance won for Best Original Film. And I think that is well deserved. Just go back to all the reasons that I stated before about why this film should have won, because it was probably the best horror film of last year, and absolutely insane. Now, for some of I do want to talk about some of the presenters, because there were a few surprises. They had announced that guys like Damien Rugna and Keith David and the McGraw sisters were going to be presenting some of the awards on the show, but there were actually a few surprises. Like, for instance, the first one, Janelle Monáe. She presented for Best Stunts and Choreography. Carl Holt presented for Best Digital Effects. The McGraw sisters presented for Best Practical Effects. Keith David presented for Best Production Design. Michael Kennedy presented for Best Kill. Michael Kennedy was, I believe, the one that directed Heart Eyes earlier in the year, which was a really good slasher movie. Then we had Amy Donald and Gina Davis. Amy Donald was the person who portrayed Megan, and Gina Davis was the one who voiced Megan. And they have Megan 2.0 coming out later in the year, which I'm so excited to watch. Again, June is going to be a really good month for horror movies, or just not even horror movies, movies in general. Alyssa Sutherland presented the award for Best Supporting Actor. Patrick Wilson, of course, famous for his role in the Conjuring franchise, he got to present the award for Best Lead Performance. And Damien Rugna presented for Best Director. Rich Sommer presented the fan favorite. Anna Lore, who's one of James and Chelsea's best friends, who's going to be in Final Destination Bloodlines, she presented Best Remake or Sequel. Josh Rubin. Josh Rubin was the one who directed Hard Eyes earlier in the year. Sorry about misspeaking earlier. He presented for Best Original Film. Also during the show, they showed off 2 trailers for some upcoming movies from Neon. The first one being Life of Chuck, which of course is being directed by Mike Flanagan, and the other one was Together, being written and directed by Michael Shanks and starring Alison Brie and Dave Franco, which both those movies I am really looking forward to when they come out in June and August, respectively. I thought, since Chris Stuckman was part of the panel, that he was going to debut a trailer for Shelby Oaks during the Dead Meat Horror Awards, but alas, that did not happen. Yeah, very much happy with all of the results that happened on the Dead Meat Horror Awards. Trailers look really good. Shocked by some of the presenters that I'm always shocked by the presenters that they are able to get for the award show. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, very much enjoyed the Dead Meat Horror Awards this year, and I'm very much looking forward to doing a full reaction to next year's, because I'm doing an abridged one this year. I wanted to do a full reaction, but wasn't able to. But that is it for my coverage of the Dead Meat Horror Awards. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to be safe out there and watch out, because you never know when a guy wearing an old fireman mask is going to come up behind you, put a meat hook in your head, and pull your head straight through your rib cage, or if a clown's going to come up and chainsaw you right up the middle. And once you're done with all that, make sure to be safe out there, and I will catch you guys next time.